You're making a mistake.
Yeah, Korra already knows. So Unalaq tries to reassure Korra that they have nothing to worry about, especially if her parents are in fact innocent. The rest of Team Avatar is hanging out when Eska and Desna crash it. Desna says something that could be considered funny, but once again I could have just as easily seen Eska deliver this line.
Korra's parents were arrested?
Yes. Your powers of deduction are impressive.
They then leave and we find Varric is hiding in a platypus bear. He eventually gives Bolin money to bribe the judge for the trial, and Tenzin finally finds his missing daughter, and the both of them together reinforce that being in a family is difficult. Back at the trial, we see Bolin fans are insulted again for liking the character as Season 2 looks to ruin him further. We're shown he gave the bribe money to 2 random people, and Asami looks disappointed, reasonably so. For those who are unaware, Bolin was previously involved with a criminal organization when he was younger. You'd think the concept of paying someone off to look the other way wouldn't go completely over his head. But no, the only way Bolin can be funny this season is to be a complete moron. So we're given the lamest trial ever where no hard evidence is presented for anything, and we just get 2 testimonies that are incredibly short. Korra's mother is then released, but everyone else is given the death sentence, and the judge doesn't explain why this is so. Korra then threatens to murder him for sentencing everyone to death, ironically.
Do this! You take their lives and I'll take yours!
Korra, calm down.
And it's taken shockingly well. On the side, we get Bolin getting buried further, but at least Eska carries this scene.
It is as if a great chasm has formed between us and nothing can bridge it.
Oh yes, I am so glad you understand.
Nothing, that is, except marriage. We will wed at sunset. You may express your joy through tears.
Oh hey, the scene was just as enjoyable without Desna being present. How strange. So Korra gets fed up and chases the judge down and nearly kills him with Naga. Get wrecked! Making good on those death threats, I see. So he admits to Unalaq influencing the trial. You'd think Unalaq would have had this guy kept guarded or under better watch. You are a really shitty mastermind. So we learn now that Unalaq got his brother banished by paying the bandits to attack and then telling them to hide in the forest. I don't understand how this got his brother banished, though. It was Tonraq who decided to absolutely level the forest. Unalaq didn't make him. Well, at least now her father is absolved of his crimes in Korra's eyes, and presumably the audience's. So Korra now is telling everyone that her father was set up, and no one asks the question of why Tonraq blasted the forest in the first place. Well, whatever. Team Avatar plans to bust Korra's father out of jail, and Varric agrees to help. They arrive at the jail, and Unalaq shows up saying,
You'll never see your father again.
And then proceeds to tell her what's happening and where her father currently is and where he's heading. God, you suck at this. Korra tells him to leave and do as she says because she won't help him with the portals otherwise. He then follows it up with a really poor bluff.
Because you still need me to open the northern portal.
No, I don't. You've served your purpose.
You know, all this made it do was look like you were lying all along. Maybe if she was a smart protagonist this season, she'd wonder why you didn't just go to the south yourself and open the portal by yourself. So they fight Unalaq and he's pushed against the wall. And then instead of capturing the guy you could use as leverage to stop the whole war, you leave him to go chase down your father. I really don't think it would have taken that long for all of them to capture him. He was already at the disadvantage. At least not long enough for that ship to get really far away. Whatever. So they get on the boat to pursue her father, but there's a problem. There's ships blocking the way. Varric informs them, though, that they have a plane which can help them. Asami flies them around, Korra waterbends the ships out of the way, and they find her father's ship shortly after. Seems they remembered Asami can do things this episode, because she's actually here, but she kinda still does nothing. She flies the plane, but just decides to crash it right away instead of flying around and being a distraction. It doesn't seem to matter, because the ship is apparently run by a skeleton crew. Korra defeats like 6 guards and the battle's over. She escapes with her father and the others onto Varric's ship, and they leave. Korra's dad decides to go to war to keep Unalaq busy. They're chased shortly after by Eska, who looks legitimately powerful and scary in this scene. Tell me she couldn't have been this season's Azula. But they kind of just ride off and outrun her, I guess. So we're back in Republic City now, and it seems everyone has something to do except Bolin. Varric offers to take him for a night on the town so he won't be lonely. Back in the south, Unalaq is talking strategy. Desna and Eska arrive, Desna having nothing interesting to say as usual, and they question why Unalaq said she wasn't needed to open the portal. He claims it was what he thought she needed to hear, and then sends them to go retrieve her. Why he thought she needed to hear this, I don't know. She's currently busy with dealing with you assholes in the south and probably doesn't trust you in the first place. And it's not like you're leaving the south either, you're just sitting on it. Why the hell did you think she'd go take a trip up north to stop you when you clearly aren't leaving the south? Whatever, we already established you suck at the whole mastermind thing. So during this episode, we get a subplot of Milo learning how to train some lemurs, but I don't feel it's really important to the overall story. To sum it up really fast, Milo sucks at training, Tenzin gives him advice to stop sucking at training, Milo acts sad about being stern, and then Milo at the end trains like 50 lemurs. Somehow. Back in Republic City, there's a peace walk in progress. Mako spots some suspicious characters leaving the building, and instead of waiting to get in the getaway car first, they just blow it up immediately with this remote control device, and then run on foot. They also blew it up when they were, right next to the building. Good way to get burned or knocked out by the explosion. Thanks to this, Mako recovers a strange device and believes that the Northerners aren't responsible. Korra just blows off his theory, though. Don't know why everyone doesn't trust this guy this season. He was a criminal for a short time as a kid, sure, but since we've met him in Korra, he's done nothing but be a good guy. Might be bad with the ladies, but it's not like he stole or lied about important things like this. I guess Korra just really wanted the Northerners to be involved, but whatever. We're brought back over to Bolin and Varric. Anyway, Bolin gets recognized and then called over to do an interview. He does the cop-out thing people commonly do on the microphone to get cheap pop, which he brings attention to. Which, it's generally funny. Varric then gets an idea that we'll be told of shortly after seeing Bolin on the microphone. So after this, we're shown Korra meeting with President Raiko on the possibility of getting the United Forces to assist battling Unalaq and the North. And it doesn't go very well. He doesn't want to get involved, and despite Korra and Varric trying to convince him otherwise, he doesn't budge. This naturally pisses Korra off, so she goes to vent to Mako.
I'm sure he cares, but he can't just tell his people to go fight a battle at the South Pole that has nothing to do with them.
How could you take his side?
Yep, that again. By this point, I'm pretty sure Mako is as fed up with the audience at how often this phrase has come up. So they have some nonsensical argument, they both act like fools, and Korra storms out yet again. This is the best couple ever. Korra and Asami both arrive to talk to Varric, asking for his help. Varric has an idea storm and throws out his solutions. Korra will just ask General Iroh to go fight the Northerners without consulting Raiko, and Asami will sell her mecha tanks to the south. I'm still sad Asami has yet to really do anything. Korra is at least going off to talk to Iroh herself, but Asami is just being told what to do, and having it done for her. You'd think with all of her father's money she'd have hired an advisor or two by now. But nope, let's just rely on some wacky businessman. Bolin goes to talk with Mako, I guess. Mako is focused on something else related to who is behind the bombing, so he's short with Bolin.
Look, I'm trying to do something that's actually important here.
Yeah, he kinda hit the nail on the head there. You got shafted this season, buddy. Bolin turns a page, which allows Mako to find a face that he recognizes, and he leaves immediately. He arrives and meets two characters that shouldn't exist. They're Lu and Gang, two new characters that are supposedly detectives. However, they do nothing but destroy Lin Beifong's credibility. Remember how in Season 1 she was a no-nonsense cop? Yeah, well, now she puts up with two idiot slackers who are all nonsense, and let assumptions do all of the work. They get Mako yelled at, and he returns to his desk to be addressed by Raiko, wanting to know if Korra is up to anything. Mako resists the urge to say something at first, but eventually spills the beans that Korra is planning to go meet with Iroh. So Korra meets up with Iroh, and he is very open to the idea of helping Korra from the get-go. He devises a plan where he uses a false training exercise to accidentally run into some Northerners and fight them. But he's interrupted by Raiko. Man, he moves fast. Raiko forbids Iroh from leaving or he'll risk getting a court-martial. Raiko then leaves and Iroh apologizes and suggests she seeks some help from the Fire Nation. Korra returns to Bolin and Varric to let them know the plan didn't work. Bulin states that Mako knew of the plan, and Korra instantly goes to confront him. So Korra arrives, angry that Mako told President Raiko of her plan to meet with Iroh. She flips her shit and Mako's desk in the process, and that's when Mako's had enough. He calls off their relationship, and Korra walks out a little sad. Lin comes out and gives the one line in Season 2 that I feel is actually funny and Lin Beifong-like.
You got off easy. You should have seen Air Temple Island after Tenzin broke up with me.
Then we're shown Korra heading for the Fire Nation when she's attacked by the twins Eska and Desna. As per usual, Desna stays quiet while Eska keeps the spotlight.
No one steals my bullet!
Wow, that's one fragile boat, or Eska really could be the Azula of waterbenders. While Korra battles with them, a dark spirit interjects and tries to murder her. Korra tries Unalaq's trick once more, and it almost works, but the spirit breaks free at the last moment and seems to murder her. Eska and Desna then proceed to leave. So the next episode starts off with a bang, literally, and we're shown Varric's shipment is being attacked by what looks like Northerners. After that, we're shown Eska and Desna waiting at the South Spirit Portal for their father, and right as they start to get impatient, he emerges. So we learn that Unalaq doesn't really have control over the spirits either, because one of them just fucked up his plan. Now I'm really not sure why he's so confident he'll succeed. He's then told Korra is dead. Good job, pal. Carrying that mastermind title proud, aren't ya? So we're now shown a segment of Bolin, who is now a star of Varric's Movers, which have him starring as a Southern Water Tribe warrior battling Unalaq. Now this is meant to be funny because the show is drawing attention to the really poor writing and production compared to what we have now. The problem is that the shitty writing here isn't contrasted enough by the good writing outside of it. Unalaq is portrayed as some stupid, evil asshole. Sad thing is, he's actually a stupid, evil asshole outside the movies. Don't get me wrong, I'm still laughing at Unalaq, just mostly the real one because he's supposed to be competent. We move on to Mako and Asami overhearing what happened with Varric's shipment getting jacked. The two detectives continue to suck and just go with the obvious. Meanwhile, Mako overhears something that he feels is fishy and goes to bring it to Lin's attention. Varric comes in and expresses his worry about the situation as well. Mako walks into the room trying to declare that something doesn't make sense, but Lin and the detective shut him down. Asami tries to help him out by saying he's onto something, and Mako proposes an idea to catch the thieves. But Lin sucks this season, so she just blows him off. Really? What was it we heard in the first episode?
Beifong says if I keep it up, I can make detectives soon.
Oh yeah, one of you is lying. Mako and Asami then go to discuss the potential plan of catching these crooks, but they lack the resources. Even with Varric offering them a ship, they lack a sufficient amount of manpower, so they try and recruit people. Korra is out of town and Bolin's acting like an insufferable jerk, so Mako goes to his old gang, the Triple Threats. They agree to help in exchange for some future industry vehicles. Unfortunately, it was a setup and they get double-crossed. Mako tells Asami and they book it. But I guess they heard Mako hearing them? A chase scene breaks out and Asami finally gets to do something cool again, pulling off some fancy maneuvers to outwit the Triple Threats. They get back and Asami's entire stock of goods has been stolen. Asami is ready to give up when Mako tells her not to do that. And because we can't get enough of shit that's already happened, she kisses Mako. Again. I guess they're gonna get back together now. Mako does some investigating and doesn't seem to get anything, so he visits Bolin while he's filming. Mako sees some rigged explosions and asks part of the production crew how it's done. The guy just flat out tells Mako it's a device that does exactly the same thing as the one that was used in the bombing. Oops. I guess Varric was behind it all along. Mako goes to tell Asami and... Varric, I love you, but why do you have to be sitting there looking guilty? It can't help your plan in any way to...
Varric bought a controlling interest in future industries. Isn't that great?
Who brought that music? Is Julie playing that evil music in the background? You know, we were just told by his stupid grin and Mako's investigating that he was behind it all. We don't need you making it any more obvious. Whatever, the season is dumb. A shame too, this episode wasn't that bad. I wonder why. Oh yeah, no Korra this episode. She wasn't making herself look stupid or getting pointlessly angry. She was just busy being unconscious. But no worries, these people just found her, and she'll be back on track and...
It's okay. We're here to help you, Avatar Korra.
Who's Avatar Korra?
Oh. Amnesia. Fuck. So some Fire Nation peeps rescue her and take her to this lady. She does some fire magic that senses that a dark energy has infected her and will destroy her avatar spirit, I guess. I guess random dark spirits kill avatars. So they lower her into some water, and after a brief discussion with herself and past selves, she's told to go find Rava. And the first avatar is going to be her guide to find it. Neat. An origin story. So meet Juan. He doesn't like being oppressed and tries to steal food from the rich and give to the poor. Too bad his enemies have weapons, so he's constantly outclassed. So after he gets thrown from a place that would easily kill him, he decides to go talk to his friends and reinforce his desire to change things through dialogue. He decides to join a small group of people who are going off to hunt. When they leave, a lion turtle grants them the power of fire, and they are supposed to give this power back upon returning home. So 2 seconds into the expedition, he states he's no longer up to the task. They tell him to return the power to the lion turtle and go home. He just decides to go home. They scold him for stealing from the lion turtle, but he plans to use this power to level the playing field. So they get to the gate of the Choose and...
You know it's forbidden to bring the power of the element into the city. Please, go back to the lion turtle and return the fire.
Really? You followed him this far and now you're having second thoughts? Whatever. The plan seems to go well as Juan manages to fight them all until his identity gets revealed. Oops. He's taken to the lion turtle and his punishment is... banishment. Are you surprised? They've been banishing people since the beginning of time, apparently. The lion turtle allows him to keep his firebending so that he can defend himself from the spirits in the wild. And no one seems to care, which makes me wonder why stealing fire from the lion turtle was a big deal in the first place. Maybe this is a one-time exception. So Juan travels around the spirit forest and gets eaten and thrown around by pretty much anything he stops next to for 2 seconds or more. He somehow survives the night and arrives at the spirit oasis where he's denied entry repeatedly. He gets thrown around some more before he's told of other lion turtle cities. He decides he'll go visit another lion turtle city when he runs into a cat deer in a bit of trouble. He's planning to eat it when suddenly sympathy strikes. He plans to free it when he runs into the hunters from before. The hunters are confusingly enough surprised to see how the guy got banished into the forest is still in the forest. Well, whatever. He's going to defend the cat deer now. He firebends at them and runs off without freeing the animal. They chase him around and he uses his knowledge from the previous night to get the other people killed. And apparently, ridiculously powerful bugs are there, carrying people off. For some reason, these hunting experts haven't learned any of this shit from repeated trips into the forest, but whatever. One of the spirits from before rescues Juan for helping the cat deer. Juan asks to live with the spirits and they eventually warm up to the idea. After a few years, Juan has become a fire-bending expert and regularly defends the spirits. He eventually decides to leave for the other lion turtle cities, and after some traveling, he runs into some commotion. Apparently 2 all-powerful spirits are battling. So they're just rolling around fucking shit up, and he tells them to stop. The light spirit, named Rava, tells him to fuck off. The dark spirit, Vatu, then asks for help.
Please, save me. She has tormented me for 10,000 years.
10,000 years?
Speak up? No?
Let him go!
Well, look what happened. Now he freed the bad spirit. You should have said something when he was tricking Juan.
The human and spirit realms are headed toward annihilation. And it's all your fault.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Avatar Korra has lost her memory!
How do you say that all excited? Seriously, it isn't new and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, Rava leaves and tells him to just stop getting involved. Juan then continues traveling and discovers airbenders. They try and run away, air surfing over to a flying lion turtle city. He goes over to the city and begins to talk with them when all the spirits start turning dark, which in turn gets them to attack. Juan decides to defend the people of the city like any good protagonist would do until Rava shows up and finishes what he started. Vatu taunts them both before leaving and Rava just yells at him for defending people. Rava blames it all on Juan. She kind of reminds me of one of those League of Legends players that repeatedly blame someone else for their own shortcomings. Juan asks to gain airbending as well, but the lion turtle says he'll need Rava's help to master it. She refuses, but then Juan goes, "I implore you to reconsider." And she's just like, okay. So we learn a bit more about the world while Juan trains with airbending. Rava explains that Vaatu will cover the world in darkness and destroy it, but then apparently the world will still be around for 10,000 years. It's still not really clear what happens, but oh well, eternal darkness sounds bad on paper anyway. So Juan now gets to see the results of some of his actions from before. Apparently his old friends from the Lion Turtle City also decided to venture out and learn firebending. And now they're just burning everything, and apparently attacking every spirit they see. I guess they all just became pyromaniacs. Juan's old spirit friend returns and gets ready to battle with the pyro lovers. Juan and Rava fuse together to get them to chill out, but Juan's body can't take it for too long. Despite this, he protests.
No! It's working! If you leave, the fighting will start again.
Juan!
Wow, it really did start back up, like, immediately. Juan wakes up and Vaatu comes back to talk some shit. It appears he could just easily pound Rava into submission, but decides to instead leave, waiting for their special battle at Harmonic Convergence. All the humans died, I guess, and now Rava is weaker than ever. He decides the best place for her is a teapot, and they head off to battle Vaatu. Vaatu shows up to meet them, and they overall have a pretty cool fight. My only issue is the dubstep laser that seems to be no more than a push laser. But whatever, the falls look like they hurt at least. Juan gets tossed around until he fuses with Rava and then proceeds to start wrecking Vaatu's shit. Unfortunately, it doesn't last long as the fusion starts to give him problems, but he decides to fight on. Damn your juggle combos.
The harmonic convergence is about to begin.
Oh. Why didn't you just beat the crap out of her before? Well, that aside, it appears Vaatu has this in the bag, and then Juan decides to touch one of the beams behind him, which fuses him with Rava forever. He then proceeds to beat Vaatu by sealing him away in a tree. He then closes the portals to the spirit world so Vaatu can't be released, and tells all the spirits to return to their world, opting to be a bridge between them. Juan continues to use his powers to try and guide the world towards peace, but it appears one human lifespan isn't long enough to do that. Luckily, being fused with Rava allows him to reincarnate into others, so their mission will never truly end. So Korra wakes back up with all of her memories and decides to no longer go visit the Fire Nation, opting to head straight back to the spirit portal so she can close it.